upscale hotel complex in Kenya's capital is under attack at this hour, with reports of at least 2 explosions and heavy gunfire. People are being rushed to safety. Several cars were ablaze by the building's entrance. Nairobi police say they have cordoned off the area. It is unclear at this point who is behind the attack, but we are monitoring this story for you. We are going to go live now for more from Catherine Soy, who is joining us on the from Diani in Kenya. So, Catherine, what are you hearing?
Well, I've been talking to some journalists, Hazem, who are there, and I've been seeing some pictures that are coming out of that scene in Dusit. This is, as you mentioned, a huge complex with restaurants, high-end restaurants and offices, banks and things like that. And what we're told happened is that this one vehicle arrived just about an hour or less than an hour ago, and there was a suicide bomber there, according to sources. This vehicle, 2 of them exploded, and others went in on foot. It's not clear how far they got into the complex. Like I mentioned, it's a huge complex, but police have said that they have the situation under control. They've cordoned off the area. Special forces are there, as well as different other units, police units. They are rescuing people, going door to door, getting people out of these offices, and also there's going to be intense investigations of these people as well. And as you mentioned, it is not clear who has instigated this. No one has claimed responsibility yet.
Yeah, as you say, Catherine, we don't know who is behind this attack, but Kenya has unfortunately seen attacks like this in the past, and many of them have come from al-shabab in neighbouring Somalia. There was, of course, the attack on the shopping mall in Kenya that happened a few years ago.
Absolutely. This shopping mall, Westgate shopping mall, this attack happened in 2016. Dozens of people were killed. And just a few days ago, the people who had been charged with this crime were in court. It was Judgment Day. One of these 4 people was acquitted. 3 others have been found to have a case to answer. Then we have another attack on Garissa University. This is a university in the north of the country. Again, many students were killed in that attack. And it's also important to note, Hazem, that this attack coincides with another attack in El-Ade in Somalia, in southern Somalia, in 2016. This attack happened when al-shabab fighters, many of them, attacked a camp, an AMISOM camp where Kenyan soldiers were, and many Kenyans were killed in that attack as well. Police, we have not, the Kenya military has not been able to tell us how many soldiers were killed in that attack, but there are many, more than 100, we're being told as well. So this is quite discomforting to hear, a lot of concern that this has happened. But it's also important to note that over the years, this kind of attacks have gone down. Police have been able to avert many attacks, many attempts to attack various places. But we also know that there are several areas in the country. We talk about the north, we talk about parts of the coast as well, that are still very unsafe. Al-Shabab fighters are said to be hiding out in a forest, for example, in the coast called Boni Forest, where the military and different police units are camped out there trying to get them out. This has been very difficult. The police saying that they have been able to thwart many attempts to attack various places in the country.
And Catherine, just in terms of the background to this, as you say, Kenya has seen a number of attacks from al-shabab in the past, and we don't know at this point if al-shabab is behind this. But why has Kenya been in the past a target of these kind of attacks?
You know, Kenya sent its soldiers in 2014, sent its soldiers into Somalia and joined AMISOM to help in the fight against al-Shabab. And since then, al-Shabab fighters, the leaders of al-Shabab, have said that Kenya is a big target, says that Kenya is an invader. Kenya has sent illegally troops to the country, has invaded Somalia, has invaded the internal politics of Somalia. And there's at one point, leaders of Somalia, of al-Shabab, have said that they're going to leave Kenya with blood flowing in the streets. And after that announcement several years ago, we saw many attacks in different parts of the country, particularly, like I mentioned, when it comes to the north and some parts of, the coast as well. So many attacks, people being killed and things like that. And then again, there's been a lot of discrimination and marginalization of people in the Kenyan coast. So a lot of people are saying that many Kenyans, especially Muslim Kenyans, are, being used and being targeted by al-shabab fighters to wage a war in the country, that we have al-shabab cells in the country. And this is what police are saying they're trying to get rid of, these cells that are in the country because of all this ongoing conflict between, the police and, the Muslim community in the country. So because of that, we have seen attacks in previous years. But like I mentioned, these attacks have gone down. But, what has happened today, it is really al-Shabaab, and if they claim responsibility for this attack, it's going to be very worrying to many people who, have thought that, these attacks have really gone away.
All right, Catherine, we'll let you go and gather more on this developing story for us. For the moment, Catherine Soy on the line from Diani in Kenya. And we're just getting some reaction now from witnesses on the scene. Let's listen into some of that.
I found my colleagues running everywhere. Everybody was just running everywhere. Yeah. So I went to our office. We have an academic office, air conditioned. I hid myself in the fridge. In fact, yeah, I had been in the fridge. There was shooting inside. Yeah.
Do you have any idea how many attackers might be there?
No, I didn't see an attacker, but actually I saw a dead person from the window.
All right, more on this story as and when we get it. Just to remind you, an attack in an upscale hotel complex in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. An ongoing attack at the moment. Witnesses saying heavy gunfire was heard. Police are at the scene and they are calling it a terror attack. No word on who was behind this or any sort of numbers on casualties at this point in time. But we will, of course, keep you updated with the latest developments from Nairobi.